So, Guntram, I wanted to ask you a question. If you look at where we left this on Friday, where the Prime Minister says, it's clear to me that they don't want an FTA. The EU has given up on this. We have got to be ready to go WTO terms. And then you listen to Emmanuel Macron say, it's you that's leaving. You have to come to us. I wonder, who do you think is going to move first, and when is that going to happen?
Well, Maria, thank you for your kind words. And indeed, it's a gray morning, so it's great to be on this show here. Look, I have to say, I'm worried actually at this stage. I mean, accidents can really happen. I still think that the logic on both sides is to come to the table for Michel Barnier and David Frost to sort out their differences and, to find a way out of this impasse. But I agree with you. I mean, Emmanuel Macron, I think, has really boxed himself into a corner over this fishery issue where I think he's really going a bit too far. I mean, after all, the UK is leaving the EU. And since the UK is leaving, it needs to have a way of saying, well, Brexit has consequences also for you guys. I feel that he's a very sort of strongly boxed himself into this corner. And my feeling is also that many people across Europe, let's say the Netherlands or other countries, aren't very happy with that very strong position that France has taken, including by watering down the European Council statement. So it's not saying we want to intensify the talks, but we just want to continue the talks. So overall, I think really what is needed now is on both sides a little bit of a willingness to look into red lines and see, where could be the compromise.
And I want to pick up on a point that you made on the French president, because on Friday, and this I thought was quite striking, he did repeat about 4 times in a press conference that lasted for just 30 minutes that the UK needs a deal much more than the EU does. This is going to hurt the UK much more than it would hurt the European Union. Do you think he is making perhaps a political miscalculation here, just operating on the basis that we don't have to do much because they really need this more than we do?
Well, look, I mean, the French president is correct. I mean, so Brexit has bigger consequences per capita or per GDP in the UK than it does in the EU as a whole. But that doesn't mean that the EU is sort of immune to a Brexit without a deal. There is certainly specific groups in the UK, in the EU, that will be affected by a hard Brexit. And I have to say, that includes the fishermen in Bretagne in France that won't be able to fish in the British waters anymore. So clearly, and people, business people, small business people in Flanders, the Netherlands, I mean, the north of Europe is relatively exposed, and so I think really if the strategy is to put the access to fishery grounds above everything else, it could fail in the sense that then you wouldn't get neither the access to the fishery grounds nor would your SMEs across Europe have proper access. So I have to say, yes, the UK cost to the UK is bigger than to the EU. But also here there are costs in the EU, and those costs are unevenly distributed. And it would be, I think, stupid to really take that cost if there's no proper reason for it. So I think really it would be a historic mistake if Brexit failed over fishery rights. And fundamentally I don't believe that it will fail. That we will not get a deal because of fishery rights. I mean, this would be just too stupid.
Right. And what about the Prime Minister? What about Boris Johnson? What does he do next? Because I often hear that, if anything, this really has been his own political mistake. He set a deadline that he was not going to be able to comply with, October 15th. And now he's really cornered himself and put himself in a very tricky position. So given everything that's happening, the economic uncertainty, coronavirus and so on, can he actually walk out without a deal?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I think the UK Prime Minister has also boxed himself in a bit of a corner. Now, it's okay if it's tactics so that we find a new agreement and a new way of discussing. But, if also for him the same applies. I mean, the economic consequences of no deal Brexit, especially in the short term, are quite significant also for the UK. And, it will be felt by by the little guys, so to speak, right? I mean, by the port authorities, by people, shipping, by the commerce people, by the SMEs in the UK. And so I really think also the British Prime Minister has a responsibility of finding a deal. Politically, I guess I would almost think that given that there's so many years now of this Brexit mess in the UK, that perhaps politically he might be able to just swallow it, and even though people are suffering, he will just put all the blame on Macron.